Thank you very much. We'll just jump right in and talk a little bit about our agenda. So we're going to give you a quick overview of how Starfish works. We are going to talk about two products that come with Starfish: Ray, which is for connecting to legacy behind a firewall, and Stitch, which is a tool that helps generate new integrations. We're going to talk about our pre-built integrations called Essentials. We're going to show you the list of connectors that we have in place, run through typical use cases, and then do a demo and have questions. So we like to say Starfish solves for X. The problem that most people have, as you well know, is that your CRM isn't as effective as it can be unless it's integrated into other systems, such as your ERP system, your e-commerce system, your marketing automation, and so on. And Starfish is designed specifically as an iPaaS solution that will help us integrate and quickly integrate to your CRM to many other systems. And so what are the benefits? The benefits are that for you, your sales team will have a better experience because they will actually understand things like what products the customers have, what sales orders they might have, what orders are pending, items like that. The marketing will have better analytics because I can pull marketing and sales data and combine them up, which allows me to provide better analysis of the effect of a marketing campaign. It will I can hook financials into a CRM or marketing and really help make business decisions. And then I can take data out of many different systems and combine them up into a data warehouse for things like reporting. So let's do a quick overview. Starfish is an iPaaS solution. It was originally designed to work with CRMs and ERPs, but it has been extended to work with marketing automation solutions, email, and social media. We have 75 connectors today to the different products that we've built, and we have access to 250 through our partnerships. So we have a lot of connections to a lot of different products, a lot of different databases that are available. As an iPaaS solution, we have a hybrid option, which is if you have to run Starfish on premise, we have the capability of having you run it completely behind your firewall. For those customers who don't want to have a Starfish running on premise, it also comes as a cloud solution, and we can connect to your legacy systems through a small footprint product called Ray that sits behind your firewall and communicates with our iPaaS solution. We also have a product called Stitch that comes again with our development environment. And what that does is it can rapidly develop an integration based on a pattern or a software pattern that we have defined. So if we define marketing automation to CRM, and you want to add a new marketing automation solution, you don't have to go through all the work of building out all the maps. All you have to do is map your marketing automation system to our pattern, and we will generate the integration or a good portion of the integration. And then Essentials is our pre-built integrations that result from our Stitch product. And so with that, we're going to show a diagram. And this is sort of how it looks. Starfish actually runs in Amazon East for those who are actually interested about that. And we have two interfaces. We have one called the Migration Wizard. Migration Wizard simply is a do-it-yourself data migration tool that can do basic, simple data migrations from one CRM to another. We support 8 different CRMs. And then for anything that's an integration or a migration that's beyond that, which is a good portion of our work. We have another tool called the Designer, and the Designer is actually lets you create maps and jobs to completely migrate or integrate any number of multiple data sources. Behind the firewall for on-premise, we have our light footprint Ray. Ray is actually one arm of a starfish, just so for those of you who want to know how we got the name. And Ray sits behind the firewall and can communicate with its legacy system. It can wake up and talk to Starfish, or it can be event-driven. And then obviously, because we have a slew of connectors, we can connect to pretty much any cloud solution. Our Stitch product is a rapid development tool that works inside the Designer. So what happens is we create a metadata mapping from one system to another. So for example, Creatio to our CRM framework. We have a metadata mapping from a specific ERP, say Xero, to our ERP framework. And then what happens is we have a generic map that maps both of those frameworks together. So once we add an ERP to Stitch, we can generate an integration template and then completely have a working basic integration in less than 10 minutes. So it really is a cool little tool. We're right now in the process of building out a marketing automation framework and an e-commerce framework as well. And so shortly we'll have a series of basic out-of-box solutions that, by the way, you can customize to personalize it to your environment. So Ray is really needed for legacy systems that do not have a web service, which is a lot of them. It installs on a Windows server, or it can run as an app or a service. It's a very small footprint. We typically will see it put on a Windows box, that maybe like a SQL Server box that's internal. It connects to Starfish through a secured layer, SSL, and supports both events and timed triggering. Our Essentials. So again, as we talked about it before, Essentials has a metadata map. Right now we have these CRMs mapped into the CRM metadata. We have these ERPs mapped into the ERP metadata. And what happens is every time we add a new ERP or CRM, it generates all the permutations. And so as I pointed out before, we have CRM to ERP now. We're finalizing CRM to marketing automation. We plan to have marketing automation to ERP, ERP to e-commerce, and CRM to e-commerce maps throughout the 2021 year. Providing what it does is it really creates a basic integration. So what we find is that it can generate about 80% of that integration that you need. And then you can actually use it directly out of the box if that's all your requirements are. But we find that most people want to modify it. And we find that just what we've done is we've basically build the mappings on what we consider the best practices for that type of integration. As far as connectors go, you can see that we have quite a few of them, and we're adding literally more connectors every week. So it's right now, these are all the pre-built connectors that we have. It does not include the 250 third-party ones. These are just the ones that we've built. So what can you do with Starfish? Well, we've got a customer, Hershey's Ice Cream, who's integrated Creatio to their dynamic GP, and we sync accounts and contacts. We push sales history and financial data and credit hold and quotes and orders as well. We have a healthcare company that records all emails server side to ensure that they're meeting their HIPAA compliances. We have an office service company that connects HubSpot to Creatio and records all web pages, visits, emails opens, syncing clients, lead forms and to leads and et cetera. So those are different use cases that we have for the product. We have an accounting firm with over 6,000 users who is actually doing their master data management strategy using Starfish. So it will actually look at the aging of records inside their CRM and remove them to an archive file because they've hit a certain age. Or if they're also using it right now to enforce their GDPR requirements. So if someone has reached out as a lead, but they haven't talked to them or haven't responded back within 2 months, they're automatically marked as archived. So they have a series of jobs that run every night that maintain their master data management and data retention policies. We have an association that uses Starfish to read a monthly change of address database provided by the post office. And it goes in and updates the email addresses for companies that have moved. And because this company has to do a lot of physical mailing, it saved them thousands of dollars by not sending products out to the wrong addresses. We have a software company that uses it to generate their software licenses. So they have a licensing system. We connect in when a sale happens. They call their software licensing software that generates a license and automatically sends it out to the customer, to the end customer. We have a consulting company that looks Creatio as Jira. And so when one opportunity becomes a project, it opens up an issue in Jira end cases. So it becomes essentially opens up projects inside of Jira, and then it also syncs Jira issues into cases in Creatio. We have an office company that pulls all their sales data into a data warehouse. It actually connects into Creatio. It also connects into there's two ERP systems and I think 2 distribution systems, and pulls all that data into a data warehouse, and then they do all the reporting out of the data warehouse. We have a banking customer who actually uses Creatio to connect to their old legacy systems, which are in fact so old that they don't have any web services, and we had to build that. We have a pharmacy that actually takes prescriptions out of the AMA database, maps it to physicians that they're talking to see if after a sales call, that person starts prescribing their products. And if they don't, it sets activities up all through automated processes. And then finally, we have a manufacturer's rep that actually, they enter stuff in their CRM and it transfers it to all their vendor CRMs automatically. So they don't have to do it. So with that, we're going to do a demo. I'm going to hand it off to Aaron.
And Aaron, if you could just unmute yourself.
There we go. All right. So are we seeing my screen now?
Yep, we're seeing your screen.
Terrific. Okay. So what I'm in here is, as Sam mentioned, this is the designer product. So this is where you would spend time if you were going to build an integration either from scratch, or you can start with our essentials maps and generate a project, and then you can take it from there and further customize it, add any custom fields or logic that you need to. So what I'm going to show is generating an integration between Creatio and an ERP package called Zero, which is a cloud-based ERP package. I'm going to go ahead and select that I'm working with Creatio as the CRM system. And under the ERP system drop down, you see we do support several other ERP systems in our stitching map capabilities. And again, you can also, we're also adding the new ones all the time. But in this case, I'm going to choose 0. And then what you do is you select your connection to these systems. So I've already set up my username and password. I've already configured all that. I won't bore you with it. I'm going to go ahead and choose a Creatio connection that I already have configured, and then 0, 1 that I also already have configured. And then here you choose how you want that map to perform. So you choose the direction in which data travels, and the way these defaults are set up are kind of like the typical way someone would configure an integration between a CRM and an ERP system, but you can change it. So say you want accounts and contacts to sync both ways between CRM and ERP, you can choose that here. Leads typically don't sync between those two types of systems. Products and prices usually go from ERP into CRM, so in that direction. These other tables don't apply typically. Then you have things like sales orders and invoices. And let's say you don't want to migrate things like payments or receipts, you can choose that here. So we'll go ahead with that, those settings, and then you just click import pre-built map. And so what this does is on the fly, it generates a new project for you within Starfish ETL. You can think of a project as a grouping of different maps. So I'm just going to go here, and you'll see this is my environment. So I've got tons of things in here, but I'm going to go to this one that it just created, Creatio-0 integration. And you'll see it generated a number of jobs. We've got accounts and contacts in the direction, and then it generates a job for each direction of things. So we've got CRM to ERP, and then we've got the reverse of that because we wanted to go both ways. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on one of these, and just to show you what a job looks like and the mapping looks like. So you'll see it's already configured that my origin in this case is going to be the Creatio environment. It automatically configures it in a way that Starfish uses for integrations. This tells it to search for records that have been modified since the last time it ran, basically. That's the way we sync data back and forth. So my connection to this Creatio system is tested and working. On the destination side, we just have an OAuth-based connection to 0, and that's already been configured and is working. And then you get into the mapping side of things. So this is going from the accounts table on the Creatio side into the contacts table in 0, and we've got the account name, things like your address and all that. These are all already mapped. And then similarly, we've got the contacts table here that goes, let me go ahead and do a test connection here. That goes from Creatio into 0. So again, we've got things like the first name, last name, and so forth already mapped. Sometimes we have to do things like scripting, and that's already built into these maps if we need to. In this case, I think this script is here because 0 requires a contact name. So basically what we're doing is that if it's blank, then we try to pull a name from a different field and so forth. This is just an example of some scripting that we've got in Starfish. In this case, we're using VB script, but we also support C#, JavaScript, or Python as scripting languages. So anything you can do in those languages, you can do in Starfish, and we have built-in functions for doing different common data functions and so forth. You can pull in fields from your origin and work with it, evaluate it, and so forth, like you see here. So if you wanted to map up any custom fields, you could do that here. Then typically what you would do from here is you would run the jobs one time through as like your initial sync, and then you could come over here, set it up to run on a schedule. So typically something like this, you would set it up to run like every hour or something like that, or every 10, 15 minutes, however quickly you want it to run. And then once that's up and running, you can always go to your history here. You can see how often it's running. You can configure things like notifications and so forth. If there were an error, how you want to be notified of it, and so forth. So that's a quick high-level overview of how you would do an integration type map. And you can similarly do a import a migration map through the designer. But I also wanted to point out that we have the CRM Migration Wizard. And so if you're doing a quick migration between two systems, you don't have to go into the designer and all that. You can actually do that right from here. You can say, I'm migrating from something like Salesforce to Creatio. And this is a real nice kind of step-by-step wizard. It walks you through the migration and the import steps. So it's showing you that these are the types of tables that we support in a migration from Salesforce to Creatio. And then it walks you through further steps, enter your Salesforce connection information and then your Creatio information. It shows you the map and so forth. I'm not going to walk through the whole thing, but feel free to try that out. It's a kind of a simplified version of what I've shown you here. I think that's all I had to show today.
And Aaron, there's a trial version available, right, of the migration wizard?
That's right. Yeah. So when you walk through this, one of the steps down here towards the bottom is going to be you don't have to pay for anything. It asks you, do you want to like import a subset of data, and so you can get all the way through it, review the mapping, even map custom fields and stuff like that within this migration wizard as part of the trial. And you don't and you can import the first 10 records and make sure that it's going to work and everything like that before you go on to the paying for it and doing the full load.
Perfect.
Thanks so much, Aaron. I want to remind everybody that if you have a question, please feel free to post that to the question chat box, and we'd be happy to get those answered. But as of right now, we don't have any questions pending. I want to let everybody know that I am recording this and we will have this up on our website in case you would like to review this again, or perhaps you have a coworker who was unable to make it. You could forward the link along to them as well. But yep, as of right now, we don't have any open questions. So Sam and Aaron, I want to say thank you very much for your time today. It was a great presentation, very interesting, and a lot of great information. And for our attendees, if you do come up with a question following this webinar, please feel free to send either myself or Scott Weber an email. And if you don't have our email address, you could also send the question to info@customerfx.com. Scott and I see those emails that come into that email address, and we'd be happy to get your question answered for you. But again, Aaron, Sam, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.